Hello and welcome to my tier list ranking for all 10 seasons of Fortnite Battle Royale. Now you might be thinking, tier lists, aren't those kind of 2018? Aren't you kind of, a bit out of time? Aren't you a bit outdated here? Well, if Fortnite Season X can trade exclusively on nostalgia, I think I can put some images in some tiers and make my opinions known. So the first thing is to obviously look at all 10 seasons and then to decide which is the best one and which is the worst. I've played all of the Fortnite seasons to date, some a bit more than the others, some a bit too much, but I have my opinions on all of them. If you agree with me, let me know, which you won't, so when you don't agree with me, be sure to let me know down in the comments below. What better place to start than right at the start? Fortnite Season 1 was a pretty rough going for the game to begin with. It wasn't that amazing. I think we all look back on Season 1 as this incredible throwback that we should all return to in Fortnite, where scars would hit for 500 damage from 400 meters away. You couldn't build through rock or stone or anything, and it was just generally a bit of a cumbersome, weird game to play. But our memories make us feel like it's a lot better than it actually was. Epic have done really well to take it from where it was to where it is now. They're two different games. I mean, in terms of map, I feel like Season 1 is the closest to what a Battle Royale should be, while Season X is just this weird and just unwieldy combination of too many different things at once, like throwing too much coal on a fire and just... it's mad. But Season 1 for its simplicity and for basically starting it all, while also realising that it wasn't the greatest launch or that it was an incredible experience to begin with, I have to put it in B. That might be a bit unusual or a bit controversial, but I think if you look back, if you played Season 1, you'd know that it was the promise of something great. It wasn't great yet. Next up we have Season 2, which really started to refine the formula, bring the Battle Pass in, make some really impressive changes, basically just streamline the game to be a more fun, more involving experience rather than the cumbersome kind of clunkiness of Season 1, which was basically, let's be honest here, they kind of just saw what PUBG was doing and was like, alright, well, Fortnite's struggling to save the world, let's just make a Battle Royale out of it. So Season 2 is when they really started to pull together and create something really great. This was, if you look back on it now, it's still just like Season 1, possibly a little dated, maybe a little too dated, and again, our nostalgic memories of it make us feel like it's the greatest season of all time, or at least a lot of people do, but really, it's just a step above Season 1, so I am putting it in A. But as for Season 3, chef's kiss, chef's kiss, probably the best Fortnite has ever been, well, arguably, but not everyone agrees on that. Fortnite Season 3 was when we had the John Wick Battle Pass, we had Double Pump for a little bit, and that's when the map really started to come alive and start to do strange things, and there started to be a storyline, and that was probably when Fortnite was at its peak in terms of player counts and public visibility, and the gameplay was probably the best Battle Royale experience out there. And yeah, it's maybe Season X is trying to chase Season 3 a bit too hard, try to chase our memories a bit too hard, because the memories are really damn good from what I remember of Season 3. So it should be no surprise that Season 3 goes in S. There you go. And Season 4, god damn, that was a masterpiece. I loved Season 4. I think it might be my personal favourite season of Fortnite yet. The map was brilliant, especially after the meteorite fallout, and just the excitement and hype about that meteor first crashing into the Fortnite island and what it meant for the wider story, and the stones that would help you jump up and around, and just everything about it was so much fun. Everything was great. The Battle Pass was amazing. I still think Valor is one of the best Battle Pass skins and most underrated. And it was just Fortnite probably at its very best, I think. This was the last season before things got a little bit too much. I know, as much as I love Fortnite Season 5, it went a bit too far. Fortnite Season 4 was probably the most concentrated, focused season of Fortnite rather, and it really kind of took Fortnite to the next level. You can't get better than this, and Epic have been trying to chase it ever since. So for that reason, I'm putting Season 4 in S. So that's two S's already. On to Season 5 now, and while I hold this personally dear to my heart, it was a bit of a controversial season for a few reasons. If you remember the compact SMG and how horrendously overpowered that thing was when it first arrived, then you'll know that was probably the start of when the community went, what are they doing? What are their plans here? When it was a summer period and they wanted young kids to have an easier time playing. But there's a lot to love about Fortnite Season 5 as well. I mean, the map changes were amazing, the rifts. I'm sad that they're not nearly as common as they were, because they were great for mobility. So went the season when mobility really started to become a thing, and you didn't have to worry about trudging 400 miles just to get near a hut out of the storm. And when Fortnite really started to be more streamlined and accessible rather than more of a hardcore experience. But that eventually caught back up to it, and with the introduction of Playground and stuff like that, it's become quite a non-casual game. But for me, Fortnite Season 5 is just a little bit below Season 4, just purely because Epic started doing weird things, which they would continue to do pretty much on a basis of one per season from here on. So I will give Season 5 an A. Season 6, I feel like I'm a bit of an outlier with Season 6. I don't think I liked it that much. I believe, if I remember correctly, I played one day of it and then went, no, I'm going to play other games. I don't like this. My main dislike of Fortnite Season 6 comes down to it just being a bit too wacky, just a bit too weird, just losing focus and being a bit too odd. I felt like the story had gone to strange places. The Halloween theme wasn't really doing it for me. The map changes were a bit underwhelming. I didn't like the battle pass at all. I played maybe a handful of matches and decided, no, this isn't for me. I want to play something else now. I've been playing for 5 straight seasons, and Season 6, in my opinion, representing them trying a bit too hard, or doing the wrong things, focusing on the wrong things. I didn't like it. I know I'm a bit of an outlier. I didn't even stay around for Kevin the Cube and the butterfly and all that. That's that season, I don't know. It's a weird storyline, man. But basically, I didn't like Season 6 at all. So for that reason, I'm sorry. I know I'm in the minority here, but I really hated it. And then for some strange reason, I decided to come back for Fortnite Season 7 after doing so well, being away from the game for so long, playing the 9 million games I hadn't played in my time religiously playing Fortnite and actually getting some work done. But I don't know why I stayed around for like the entirety of Season 7, because I hated the whole thing. It was a weird season. It made me feel really cold, suitably, because the whole thing was all about ice. The event was bad, the planes were bad, but at first they were very fun, but then they took too long to change them. The winter biome became very boring and uninviting before too long. And there was a bloody sword. Do you remember the sword? God, they kept that in for way too long. Basically, Fortnite Season 7 for me is when the sweaties really started to overtake me and I really stopped enjoying it. So if you come into this tier list for like a casual perspective, this is what mine is. If you're more of a serious Fortnite player, you might not agree with my choices, but Fortnite Season 7 for me, with Playground and Creative and these kids cranking sick 90s on my ass and just making me feel very emasculated like a little tiny boy. Season 7 for me was not a good period. But I kept persevering with it. I like the skins. I think Lynx is a great skin. The Ice King's a bit poor, but the reintroduction of the zombies, it felt a bit lazy. Everything about it was just very off. It was a season when Fortnite and Epic really started to lose track of what mattered with the game. And yeah, I don't think anyone looks back on Season 7 that fondly. So for that reason, I'm putting it in F. Fortnite Season 8, another weird season for me. I didn't feel like the map changes were all that great. The new additions were pretty boring. The Battle Pass skins were dry. And after the first few times using a pirate cannon, you get used to the same game, but just with a giant volcano in it. I really disliked Season 8 quite strongly, even though some people saw it as the second coming of Fortnite. But it didn't gel with me at all. The ballers were fun for a little bit, and then everyone started complaining about them. It was okay. It was fine. It was a fine season. I don't think anyone looks back on it too fondly. There was a free battle pass, which is probably the best thing about it. But apart from that, again, Epic just went a bit crazy with the map and everything they added. And they just... Basically what's happened is they've overcommitted to adding too much at once. Keeping the updates coming too often, and now they're kind of hamstrung by it. They need to keep adding stuff, or they broke the promise. But everything's so poorly thought out, and it's just put in without much thought, and the community and pro scene suffers as a result. But as a casual player, no, Season 8 didn't offer much to me. The cannons were fun for a minute, and that was it. The battle pass sucked, so... And I bought it. I couldn't be arsed with the overtime challenges. For that reason, I'm going to put Fortnite Season 8 in... E, I think. God, this looks dramatic. S-A-B and then E-F. Wow, okay. We're down to the 2 most recent seasons of Fortnite yet, and Season 9, I feel, was a good uptick in quality from Fortnite. The map changes weren't massive technically, and they kind of ruined Tilted and kind of ruined Retail, which is my favourite landing spot of all time. I feel like the additions of the slipstreams and the fun little things really helped to make it more of a fun game again. The Battle Pass was fine. Vendetta was a terrible tier 100 skin. I can't remember many controversies from Season 9 to be honest, which is a bit of a crazy situation when you judge a Fortnite season by how hated it is based on Epic's silly decisions. But I rather enjoyed Season 9, even though I feel like it was the worst season for me ever. I couldn't win, to save my life. Everyone was editing my anus out of my mouth pretty much in every single engagement. But I enjoyed it overall. I know I was probably a bit of an outlier here. I know a lot of people found Season 9 to be rather boring, but I had a good enough time. So for that reason, I'm putting it in C. And now we come to Season X, probably the most incredibly daft and narrow-minded, not even narrow-minded, poorly planned season of Fortnite to date, or any competitive game I can think of really. It's been mistake after mistake after poorly implemented ideas to desperately trying to bring the casual players back to just not listening. And it's what's wrong with Season X is that they basically have 2 very distinct player bases. There's not really any in between anymore. There's not really people who pick it up for fun with their friends or pick it up occasionally. Well, they do pick it up occasionally, but they don't return to it often. You've got the casual players and the pro players, or the people who aspire to be pro players, or the very serious players. Now, the casual base is dwindling pretty rapidly, I feel. Anyone who wanted to play Fortnite by now would have played it, basically. So, what you're left with a really slimming, really diminishing amount of casual players, and yet you've got all these pro players over here, these serious players, who make it hard for anyone to possibly get into the game because they're so good at it. So what Epic's trying to do this season, pretty drastically it has to be said, they've been adding more casual items, more inviting gameplay, so the mechs have been an addition purely to make it more appealing to Timmys and Kevins, so that they can jump back into Fortnite or try it out for the first time without getting bodied by TTV, your dad is a lemon. That's basically what it is. So you've had the mechs, which have been pretty underwhelming. You've had the changes to building, which were a bit short-sighted. And you've had many other little things that don't make much sense in the grand scheme of things if you've been playing Fortnite since the start. As well as that, the map is just... The rift zones, I appreciate the idea, but I feel like they've tried too hard and there's too much going on in the map, and the rift zones themselves aren't that fun to play apart from Tilted Town. The rest of them are so bizarre, and they just... Epic now, they just throw stuff on the map and just worry about it later. They just add stuff in and then just worry about it later. They don't really think about the balance of things. Right now, at the time of recording this, they have about 5 different rift zones, all with different conditions and stuff. There's zombies, there's no building zones. There's Greasy Grove, which they've turned into Dance Dance Central for some reason. And then you have, what's the other one they have in the minute? I can't remember what it's called. It's the old one. Oh, what is it? Basically, that says a lot, that they've added so much that it's hard to keep on track of them all. So for this reason, and for the fact that it's still got weeks to go, I don't feel like they can do anything now to make much sense, or that will improve the game. And it's all they can do from here is make it even worse. So for that reason, and for the fact that they've overdone it basically and put in Season X, the most current season, in F. So yeah. Of course, this is just my rambling opinions after too much coffee and deciding to do this on a whim, hoping that I'll get more than 100 views. So if you agree or disagree, please be sure to give me some engagement and drop a like or comment below to appease the YouTube algorithm. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.